Hello and welcome all to the second episode of Beneath the Surface, Tabletop Tempest's first actual play in the TTRPG space. I am Kris, aka D&D Imposter, and my pronouns are they, she, and I will be your game master for this lovely game. I will be saying this every single week, but I am both delighted and blessed to say that all cast members, both on and off screen, are either immigrants themselves or a child of one at least. And together we are bringing you a story inspired by Brazilian folklore, where my family is from, which will explore the nuances of growing up abroad when your ancestry is located in another country. But first, I would like to introduce the players all around me. They will be introducing themselves, who they are playing, and we're going to start with Danny.
Hey y'all, my name is Danny Quach. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing Myto Bui with the playbook, the brain. I am the brainiac, and I will know that. And Myto's pronouns are they, any.
Hello, everybody. My name is Victor. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Orúno Munín, who has the playbook, very hopeful, not at all auspicious playbook called The Doomed. It's the comedy one, I'm sure. And yeah, his pronouns are also he, him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nala or Jay. I go by both. My pronouns are they, them. And tonight I am playing Tamsyn Zhao, who uses she and they pronouns. And I am the legacy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns, and tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing Gabriel Joe, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm very, very excited, and I play the Scion playbook. Completely normal playbooks over here.
All completely normal playbooks thus far, and on to our last completely normal character, played by the lovely Claire.
So normal. Hello, my name is Clare. My pronouns are she, her, and today I will be playing Carmen Pereira, also uses the pronoun she, her, and I will be playing the Star playbook.
Sweet. Next up, just quick trigger warnings for this game. Each episode, I will be highlighting the different types of trigger warnings that may be seen in this episode. This specific one is going to be the same as episode one, where some of the trigger warnings are familial and generational trauma, loss and grief, rage, lineages, and stories. And as I will say again every week, if at any point you, the viewer, is uncomfortable by a theme that is playing out in the game, know that you can pause it. These are pre recorded and you can always come back to keep watching later. Lastly, a huge thank you to some of our sponsors and our partners. As you've heard the word playbook a few times, we are using the Masks TTRPG system, which is brought to you by Magpie Games, one of our partners for this show, and who has provided us a few hard copies, which we will be using for giveaways in future episodes. So keep an eye out for those if you want to play the game yourself. Also, we have an official dice sponsor for the entire show, Whitney, aka Smoking Glue Guns. So be on the lookout because Whitney is gifting us a set of dice specifically made for this series, which we will be gifting at a later episode. Now, oh, very long journey on the plane. Some maybe a bit harder for some than others. Are my players ready to jump in?
I'm ready. Don't know about Carmen, but I'm ready.
I don't know about Carmen either. Carmen's got the sunglasses on. But we start. Beneath the embrace of a sky painted with vibrant hues of aqua blue lies a village where the whispers of both the past and murmurs of the future blend into the melody as timeless as the sea. The village is a place not set apart by geography per se, but by the very essence of its being. A rare gem nestled between the wild embrace of a forest as vast and mysterious as the Amazon, and the serene beauty of a beach that stretches into infinity, where each wave tells a story of ages past. To my players, the five of you, having been picked up by the airport by a bus that has seen its share of years, you five have spent the last 5 hours traversing an Amazonian region after a 16-hour adventure by plane. And now by van, having had the water and snacks and maybe a little pack of Lunchables that you brought from the airport. Hopefully, Carmen having some water after the first class champagne shoots. You all see the forest in front of you break, and standing before you, a city that reflects both ones that you have read about in books. I would like to welcome our players to Sombra de Hio, your ancestral village that thrives on the delicate balance between nature and the marvels of human ingenuity. Think a little bit like Myto's room, but on a grander scale. Here you see that technology doesn't conquer, but rather harmonizes with the environment, creating a landscape reminiscent of Sao Paulo's innovation and Minas Gerais' architectural beauty in Brazil. On the ground, spires around you, buildings seem to reach for the heavens, not in defiance, but in homage to the boundless skies. And you see streets buzzing with energy of technologies just integrated into the fabric of daily life. Yet, amidst the progress, the heart of the village itself beats to the rhythm of ancient drums. The elders, guardians of history and tradition, have held fast to relics of a time when the spirits of the land spoke openly to those who would listen. And as the sun's position shows signs of the afternoon, shadows cast alongside the windowsills of the van you all sit in, you feel the vehicle begin to slow to a stop, and it parks outside of a modest 3-story home reflecting what we now know as a typical Latin American style hostel, with colorful paintings alongside the walls and windows across every floor. The driver turns back to you all and motions, "This is your stop," as he points to double doors opened at the entrance of the building.
I think Tom is probably leaning against Gabriel, maybe
Hmm.
asleep.
Yeah. And I love that because I was literally gonna ask you if Tom has actually like fallen asleep yet. And I think Gabriel has lent you his shoulder, has not disturbed you throughout, so you could get a bit of sleep throughout this very, very long journey. And I think he kind of just like taps the other side of your shoulder and says, Tom Tom,
Hmm?
we're here. Mm,
Hmm.
time to wake up.
I'm up. I'm up. Hi. Mm.
Hi, sleepyhead. And he gestures to look out of the window at these like grand doors that are right outside this beautiful scenery that you probably didn't take a look at. And as you are taking and drinking in the sight, Gabriel's already moving to remove bags that are sat on the shelving just above the seats of the bus and has grabbed any like small little hand luggage that you have and it's already draped over his shoulder, ready to go.
And I think Tom goes silent, just looking at the scenery around her, and she, I think, just takes it all in. And I think under her breath, you hear like a just wow.
He smiles knowingly. I think he had an expectation that you would drink it all in, and he's looking at you very proudly and smiling. But pans his gaze over to the three others, particularly Carmen. I think he's worried about Carmen and like has strained his neck over to make sure that she's awake and conscious to join us.
Uh, Carmen's definitely feeling kind of rough. She got lit at the lounge and continued to get lit like that whole 16-hour plane ride. And arriving in what I'm assuming is like kind of a tropical environment with like additional travel just like exacerbated her hangover. So I think she may or may not be passed out and or dead in the back seat. Like we don't know at this point what's going on with her. And I think she's rocking a look kind of like this, like she changed on the plane into like comfies, and I think she thinks she's rocking like an undercover model look, but she really just looks like a blob, like in sweats, just like blobbing. And which is totally inappropriate for the weather, but she's just like resigned herself to like I think she normally is used to feeling like pretty glamorous and with it, but this is just like so not the vibe. She's out of her element. She's unhappy and probably sleeping.
Gabriel will like just creep closer towards you, and also like tap you awake. He's like,
Oh,
Carmen,
ow. Mm. Oh,
so so sorry. We've arrived. Come on,
so
help me with your
loud.
bags.
Thank you.
And
So loud.
Gabriel furrows his brow. He could not be any quieter. Waking her up. But he will begin kind of like helping her with the bags because she does not look like she can do so.
No, no,
Carrying
you
out
don't
his
have to
big
do
brother
that.
duties.
No, I'm sure
No.
there's a valet or something, right? Who can help take this? You don't have to do that. But it's super kind. Like we can just wait, right? And someone will come and help us.
I don't think so, Carmen.
What do you mean?
Gestures to out the window.
There's no valet here.
Yeah, but this is all like for mood, right? To like set up the vibe for when we arrive.
No.
It's
I
alright.
thought
I'll help you out.
okay, I just have to check in with my assistant because I asked her to gut check everything that was here to make sure it would be like set up. And I really thought we would be getting a different treatment when you arrive. But like I appreciate the help. Thank you, Cuzzy. Thank you.
He makes a face as he hears Kazi and kind of like pushes his hair back a little and begins lifting. How heavy are your bags, Carmen?
Heavy.
Oh yeah, this lanky man just like buckles for a whole minute. But he's like, "Mm." But he recovers so quickly. Um, but
Ooh,
I think I'm
there's
so
a real
attempting to
strong.
help
moment.
you.
You're so
Yes.
strong. You're so strong.
Yep. Mm.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
would help, but I have scoliosis, like slight scoliosis. So I just
Carmen, what did you
can't.
pack?
Well, I have an outfit for every meal of every day.
You packed more than me, which is saying something.
Well, I didn't want to outfit repeat while we're here, you know? We have to save face. Anyway, this is a lot of conversation for like this early in the day. But
Ugh.
thank you for your help. Thank you. Carmen just like takes out her phone and starts taking content for her stories.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
I think as Carmen is on her phone, you see Myto actually in the back seat when where Carmen was, but you actually almost missed Myto because they have their face kind of pressed up against the window, just like fiercely like scribbling down notes, just kind of taking in this tropical environment that they've never seen. It almost juxtaposes everything they know from the farm, and especially how it mimics this kind of solar punk technology. You just see Myto going and completely disregarded this whole Carmen Gabriel situation with the heavy bags, and uh again just face pressed up against the window. You can kind of see the breath mixing with the humidity, but they don't care. They're just going, and like a bead of sweat comes down because they're like writing so furiously about all these different plants and stuff that they've only seen in textbooks, but now they have like first case scenario in their face.
I'll say that Orúno is in that place where after you travel for a long time, instead of being tired, your body doubles down on being awake. And you're just in that energy of just, I am alive. And the travel through the forest, the travel through the city, all of this is he's in awe. He's just taking all of it in. He's the world in the inside the van is barely existent. He feels the humidity on his skin, and somehow it just feels right. And it is probably the moment where the sound of drums comes to his ears, that the resonance and vibration of the music just taps into something internal in him that overwhelms him, makes his eyes water, as he has no other way to explain it inside his mind that this is home. And as soon as they start slowing down and they say, "This is your stop," he's eagerly grabbing his bag, slinging it over his shoulder, his guitar, and he has a moment where he like starts going forward and sort of pauses, thinking, "Oh, maybe I should check if anybody needs help." And then he sees that Tam and Gabriel are helping Carmen, who seems to already be on her phone, and he just has that moment of he just looks at Myto, who seems to share a little bit of the eagerness, and he just has a moment where he gives a smile before he eagerly just steps out.
I think seeing Orúno actually step out of the van, Myto realizes that, oh, they don't have to look through a window anymore. So they kind of gather everything up. They make sure Stitches is with them, and right behind Orúno, they're like on Orúno's heels, almost like pushing to get outside and like to breathe the air and like touch the ground and like collect samples. So as they like feet touches the ground, like you see Stitches with like a little brush like collecting these like little soil samples into like a vial, and Stitches is like running around and like almost playing with like any wildlife that is around and like chasing like little butterflies or moths that are flying around. And Myto looks up one more time at this hostel and looks at the four of y'all, and it's just like, um so do we go in or
You can come in. You hear this voice of a woman coming from inside the building.
I would like to begin the Scooby Doo lean over to look ahead of us movement. If anyone would like to join me,
I joined the Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
I
I think
joined the
Tom
Scooby-Doo.
does as well.
Just I just imagine Stitches at the very bottom at the end. Just
yes.
you guys all peek around and you see a long hallway. There are doors lining one side of, you have the wall on your left side of the actual building, and then you have doors leaning down. But you see kind of at the very end of this home what looks like the end of a dining table with what looks to be like food, and you see these tiny little, like, you see these footsteps kind of racing back and forth, moving too fast for you to see really anything distinctly about it, but you see someone kind of running around the table.
I think Carmen, apart from the fact that she's like horrendously hungover, like she's hanging out the ass right now, and it's just uncomfortable, like physically. I think it's also like there's a reason she got like shit faced at the airport. Do you know what I mean? I think she has like weirdly like a lot of anxiety about coming back, but is trying to like has been trying to hide it under like hee hee ha ha. So I think she's hanging back a little to like let everybody else go forward first. And try to like see how things respond, but is gonna like like take content, like just like busy herself, like taking photos and but just hanging back a little.
Armed with every bag and suitcase under the sun.
Tom would take her bags from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take
Thank
my
you so
own
much.
bags from you.
I can imagine that you have like a smaller bag that Gabriel is attempting. Gabriel is that guy who would carry every grocery bag in one trip.
Mm,
Get
okay.
it done over with immediately. That's the kind of mindset he has, and I think he's trying to do the same thing with all of these like hand luggage and stacking them on his shoulders. And you could probably like come and be like, don't do that.
I think
I
Orúno
think
would probably help.
let me help you.
Yeah, Orúno would
Oh,
offer
okay.
to help too.
Oh, thank you. Here's Carmen's, and I think he hands you Carmen's heavy hand luggage.
And I think Carmen, like seeing this, she wants to save face, but only a little bit. So she's like, no, I can take one, and takes like the smallest bag, like something that like was bought at like duty free, like a plastic bag.
Take
It's like
someone's
I can
fanny
help.
patty.
I can help. Yeah. Let me take the backpacks. You guys got hand. I'll be the backpack person. Takes like all
Okay.
the handbags and stuff. The light
Okay.
stuff.
The light little handbags, yes.
Mm.
And Gabriel, I think, armed with the luggage, is like, all right, let's head in and say hi. Hi! And he immediately starts greeting. The socialized face, his kind of like deep brown eyes glitter in that kind of like social the social structure of it all, and leaning in and begins marching forward confidently after the voice of whoever just called out after us.
I think Tom is right there behind you. I think also calls out and just says like, "Hi, uh, should we leave our stuff by the entrance or?"
And almost hiding
And
behind the two siblings, Myto's like, and if you have any sort of identification before we step into your place of residence, that would be nice.
Oh, Myto.
and
I
you
think
just
we're
you
gonna be
hear like
okay.
this. You hear a couple, what sounds like a fork and a spoon kind of drop, and you hear the identification, and you hear the feet patter, patter, patter as around the corner, clutching like a rather large but thin book to her chest. You see a woman seemingly in her like late 40s kind of run up and immediately stop just a few feet in front of you. Her skin the color of moistened sand, and eyes dyed a cool tone brown. You see her loose curls, her loose black curls are kind of held to the side of her hair in a ponytail, and she has this just pure, gentle energy that's prevalent in the crow's feet of her eyes and this bright, soft smile in her face. And she goes, "Who needed identification? I have a whole book." And she kind of just holds it out. "I can't believe you guys are here. Um,
Myto
you,
points
Hi.
from
you,
behind
no, wait,
Gabriel.
let me guess, let me," and she starts, "Hmm?
Oh, this one was asking for identification if you had. Uh, and then Myto goes
Gabriel
back to.
turns
And are you, who
around.
are you pointing to?"
I'm
Gabriel
pointing to
turns
Gabriel.
around and he was like, "Yes, I sure. Hi.
"You must be," and she starts like shifting through the pages. "You must be Gabriel.
Yeah,
And
hi."
you," and she points at Thompson. You're Thompson. You two are the siblings. And you and Orúno and um Myto?
You see a pair of glasses
What?
just kind of peek between Tom and Gabriel. Oh, I'm sorry. Why do you have our identification? I was asking about yours, and then kind of slides
Oh,
behind
I
Tom's
don't.
again.
And she turns it around. She turns this book around, and you see pictures of Luna, and you see pictures of your parents, and you can see as she's kind of scrolling like put opening page after page, you can see that this is a scrapbook of your parents. You see a couple, kind of like, even from far away, you can see a couple photos of when you guys were children. Gabriel, you see a picture of when you were last at the reunion about 10 years ago. And she's going through all of them, and you must, is Carmen okay? Are you okay? Carmen, is she?
I'm good. Hi. Hi. I'm here.
And she just looks at like Gabriel and Thompson. Is she okay?
She's travel worn. It's been like a
Very
16-hour
tired.
flight. Mm-hmm.
Shingu, can you make the drink? Can you make the drink? And you just hear a blender start in the back. And she just motions to all of you. You all, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. My name is Yata. And she kind of holds out her hand and then quickly takes it back, like feeling so disrespectful as she notices all the bags that you're carrying. And she goes to, who has the most amount of luggage?
I'm currently carrying Carmen's and my life in a backpack plus my guitar. So
Not the heaviest luggage. Who's got the most numerically?
Like that they brought with them, or who's
So
holding the most
carrying it
luggage?
with them.
I think it might be Carmen.
Oh, yeah, I brought the most with me, but I'm carrying the least currently.
So who is carrying the most?
Probably Gabriel.
Number wise.
Probably
Not how much does it
Gabriel.
weigh?
Probably
It's Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Then she's going to kind of not even notice that Orúno is she's not taking into consideration how much these things weigh. She's more looking at how many things people are carrying. And I want to say she almost like sidesteps Orúno. It's like, oh sorry, here, let me help you. And goes to
Oh, no.
help Gabriel with a couple of the
Auntie,
bags.
Auntie, it's fine.
No,
I
no, no.
can handle
Okay, I got it. No, please, please, thank you. And she kind of
it.
just, with this weird strength that only an auntie has when she's mad, kind of rips one of them out of your hand as she then tries to not struggle as she pulls it in. Come on, you must be so hungry, and there's lots of food. She kind of just takes it to the edge of the table before putting it down and having a quick little sigh. And you guys see this long stretched rectangular table just filled with any sort of food you can imagine served in a tropical region. Fruits
Mm.
that are more ripe than you have ever seen in movies, let alone seen in your own supermarkets. Water everywhere, you have juices, and then from the back, you see someone who presents themselves a bit differently than the light-hearted Yata that you just met. In contrast, and a few heads taller than the woman, walking out with this like green juice with pieces of celery and leaves coming out of it. An elderly man in his 60s greets you all with this firm look, kind of scanning you all before his eyes stop on Carmen, the one who he was looking for. And his eyes are deep set, showing years of history. We'll leave it at that. His skin is dark as the night sky, and the sun is reflecting through the window on the tops of his cheeks, just as the moon does in the darkness of the forest. His beard is sprinkled with specks of gray, and his brow seems to be permanently furrowed. Not that he's upset to see everyone, but that is just where it's set right now. And he nods, and as he scans all of you, Shingo. The name is Shingo, and you need to drink this. And he hands Carmen the drink.
Thank you so much. I think she has been like, as soon as she saw it, her eyes like perked up, like this was like the nectar of life. Starts drinking it, and it's just like looking at his skin, and it like from your description, he's got like the most gorgeous skin, and she's like, your skin is so good. Like, do you have a regimen, or like, is it just like living here? Like, what's your skincare routine? And she like
And
keeps guzzling this green juice.
things are happening. As you sip the juice, it's going to be the GM's first roll of the game to see if this does anything. And you know what? I'm not saying it's a bad sign when the GM crits the first time they roll in a game, but it's for your benefit this time. Your hangover, after finishing half of it, you realize is gone.
Oh my god. I feel
And
amazing.
he puts a hand on your shoulder as that just like that breath of the last piece of the hangover just leaves you, and he puts a hand on your shoulder. Wear a hat and wear sunscreen. And he just kind of pats you on the shoulder and turns back around, walking into the kitchen.
Oh,
That was Shingu. Everything's explained in the scrapbook. You wanted it, the identification, and she kind of puts it on Gabriel's chest.
Yeah. Thank you, Auntie. And this is so kind. And he like gestures to the entirety of the meals that we have like set at the table, and kind of gives her this warm smile, and turns over to Myto and with this, I imagine, large scrapbook, filled with pictures, and leans down towards you, Myto, and goes, here the identification for you.
Myto leans in, like kind of up. Um, just so that we're on the same page, are you saying auntie as like a respectful thing, or is this our actual aunt?
She is our actual aunt.
And you kind of see this like glimmer in Myto's eyes, and he almost like snatches the the scrapbook and immediately just goes sits down and just starts like flipping
Oh,
through and like looking at all the pictures.
there they go. Uh,
Orúno has a moment that he feels compelled to just go to Myto, but he decides he'll wait his turn to take a look at the scrapbook. He's also very eager, but there's so much information
mm.
all around him right now. He's not sure where to direct it.
Is there anything else that needs to come in from the kitchen? I'll come and help you. And I think once Gabriel has set things down, has like rolled up his sleeves, is ready to immediately go into helping Yara out with any water, glasses, mats that need to come from the kitchen out to in front here for folks to eat.
And you just like hear her little feet chase behind you, and she's like, "Oh no, 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 no!" And as you kind of turn the corner, Shingu is standing there with this large plate of bananas, and he goes, "This is the last thing if you want to take it."
Thank you, Uncle. And brightly picks it up and kind of like gives a cheeky smile, I think, to Auntie just to show like I got this. And as he kind of like shuffles forward, he brings you all a plate of bananas, brought from the kitchen, and kneels down near Myto and Orúno. Tom, I don't know where Tom and Carmen is seated, but I think he kind of walks behind you, Tom, and just says, Tom, you should have something. You haven't eaten since the flight.
Tom just absentmindedly takes a banana. But I think she's been admiring all the food that has been made. Um, I think just like looking at it, Tom is a great chef. I think loves cooking and is sort of admiring all of the food that has been put out and is trying to see how much of it she recognizes and what new things like new recipes or things that they wouldn't be able to uh um name just based off of looking at it all. But I think I absentmindedly take a banana and just squeeze the tip of it and begin peeling it.
It's
I
very much
think
so like an all you can eat buffet type thing. You have one part of the one part of the table that's like seafood, poultry, pork, beef. Then it moves on to vegetables where you have yams, corn, okra, palmito, and then this probably about half of the table is just fruits. You have cashew fruit, acai, guarana, banana, custard apples, pitanga, coconuts, just things and colors you didn't know existed in the fruit section of the supermarket because it's not seen outside of a tropical kind of climate like this.
Are there plates?
There are plates.
Okay, then Tom takes a big bite of this banana and then just wanders over to grab a plate. Um, and is about to like just start going down the table taking food and then stops herself and turns around to our aunt and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Should we eat or should I wait? I'm sorry. I'm just I'm hungry."
Oh no 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 no! That, it would be so disrespectful to wait. This is all for you. This is all for you before everyone gathers tonight. Where you'll get to meet everyone else from the book. All your other great aunts, your great grandparents, some more aunties and uncles. The whole village is gathering in celebration.
Oh, I see. And I think Gabriel like pans his gaze over towards each of us. I don't think he expected it to be a huge thing on the
Neither
first
did
day.
Orúno.
Uh, that would be really cute actually. Gabriel and Orúno like, okay, we're both on the same page of like,
Yeah,
okay,
there's
we'll
a moment of like, there's a moment of a celebration. Is there an event tonight?
Like, how many people were invited?
The the whole village is getting together. It's the first night of the reunion. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but Shingu, and she kind of points, and he just like with his furrowed brow just shrugs his shoulder. Shingu monitors the weather for us. He's the one most in touch with the coming and going patterns of the climate, and he realized that tomorrow there's supposed to be quite a big storm with the way the tides are coming in. So we figured that tonight it's of no problem. We this is the biggest celebration for us in 10 years, and all of you are here, so many of you for the first time. So of course we want to have it when the weather's perfect.
That
I think
makes sense.
I think Carmen is like super anxious about this and like definitely is kind of disappointed that she's no longer hungover, right? Like even in being hungover, it was like something to do because I think she is really uncomfortable with being home. Like even meeting the aunties and uncles, it's this weird like line of knowing that she wants to like save face and wants them to like her, but it's also worrying like how many of these people like know my mom? Like if the whole village is coming, like how many like is this gonna be like a arena for gossip and like family nonsense? Like I think that is what's filling her mind, and like aware of how she's currently presenting, she's just like so uncomfortable and highly anxious at the idea of like I have to go and play like good daughter right now. Like I'm not here for it. So I think she like tries to find like a moment with Yara. It's like, excuse me, Yara, if you have like 1 sec. So so excited to see everyone. This spread, amazing. So excited. Uh my social battery right now is kind of low, you know, like right before we flew here, I had to work an event and I'm just feeling like pretty burnt out. Would it be possible to like postpone this, you know, maybe like see a guest list just so that I can like, you know names and faces. I want to be on best form.
Oh, no, yeah. And she kind of leans in, and under her breath, unless anyone's trying to listen as they see her lean in.
Oh, absolutely. I am the good boy. I need to know. I am paying attention to any movement in the mood or vibes of this space.
Okay.
My mental health is contingent upon it.
I feel like Orúno is probably just like looking at and listening to all of this, but his hands are reaching for all the food. He's automatically already started to.
If anybody would be trying to listen, roll me your 2d6 and either add or subtract your superior. And if you get a 7 and above, give me a thumbs up.
You little
I love
eavesdroppers.
having a -1. I love having a -1.
Oh my gosh.
No. No.
I'm gonna roll just because I'm nosy.
I rolled snake eyes, so that means I rolled a 1.
Same.
Because 2 minus 1 is a 1.
Literally the same. I rolled literally the same.
You think I'm saying that Gabriel's such a dick? Don't let him come.
Hey, big brother, big pal, guess
Yeah.
what I also rolled? 2 ones.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with eating. I'm eating the food, okay? I am excited about
So let
this
me get
buffet.
this straight. The first 4 rolls were a 1 and a 2, and then 3 snake eyes.
2
And the first roll
ones
for
right
the DM
here.
was double 6s. All right, let's go. I'm guessing
This is
Myto is
going
not
great.
listening. Okay. So I'm guessing that Carmen wasn't super quiet because the room has an echo. So you guys probably at least would have heard pieces of what Carmen's saying. But Carmen, Yara leans in and goes, "Oh, you want to be on the best foot. Maybe next time when you prepare, just a little less champagne. You'll be fine. We'll make you another drink." And then she kind of pats you on the shoulder and like walks back to Shingu.
Carmen has
Good
not been
thing-
spoken to like that in so long, and I think it feels like a punch in the gut. Like Yara has physically attacked her. She just like sits down in the nearest chair and takes a sip of the juice, hoping it will like cure her bruised ego. Just like mortified.
So Shingu will be back to get all of you. You can rest. The gathering isn't for about, and she kind of like looks at this fake like where a watch would be, and then looks at Shingu. It should be in about, and he gives her a 4 hours. So you guys have plenty of time. You can take a nap, you can relax. She looks at Carmen. You can get some social battery back.
Thank you.
And yeah. Is there anything else I can get you guys? Any other types of juice we can make? Of course, the kitchen is free for you to use.
Auntie is completely fine. We're okay. And he like looks towards everyone else. Oh, baby, sorry, baby. So cute.
Sorry for our viewers at home. This is Arthur. He's the goodest boy.
Is my dad's name?
Arthur's playing stand-in for Stitches.
Yes, this is.
Oh yes.
What
Speaking
kind
of,
of dog
As
is
you
my
say
dad?
that, oh, we're totally fine, blah blah blah. She goes, okay, and you see her like pitter patter really quick into the kitchen and come back out with a little teacup without like a, I can't even remember the word right now. Teacup with nothing to hold on to it. She holds it with two hands, and she kind of leans over to Myto. This is for Stitches, and it's just full of these tropical nuts. I didn't see him when you came in, but Baluna, your mother told me about him.
Yeah, and you see Stitches pops their little head out from Myto's hoodie and like crawls all around and like jumps over to Yata's shoulder and then like straight down to the cup. Oh, thank you so much. And Myto's like halfway paying attention, not even paying attention. And Myto's been like making like these little tabs and notes of like everybody's childhood pictures. And I feel like he turns over to Tom and like holds up the album, and you just see like a picture of Tom as a child just like loaded up with a plate. And it's kind of one of those moments where it's like, you know, like habits haven't really much changed. So you see Tom kind of with a plate there, and then he turns over to Gabriel, and Gabriel is like just being Gabriel and just kind of like having this brilliant background behind him, almost like this was like a picture of like when Gabriel won some sort of award, and it's just like looking, and then kind of looks like Orúno, as Orúno's just kind of stuffing his face, and there's like a picture of like baby Orúno with just like grape juice and everything smothered, and then turns over to Carmen and looks at this like weird little picture, and it's like, Cousin Carmen,
Mm-hmm.
is this you? And like turns. What does Carmen's weird awkward teenage phase look like?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I
Let's
think-
go.
Carmen was definitely very much like an ugly duckling in school. Like I don't think she looks anything like all the pretense she has now. Like she's the kind of girl who like her parents never let her have like the nicest clothes, never let her like go out with friends. She just looks, and I say this with like zero judgment, she looks like a dork. Like she just looks like the dorkiest, like awkwardest person ever. Like almost unrecognizable. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, but like that's like a bad picture. Like you shouldn't commit that to memory.
It's
Like
cousins, and like literally like almost rips out the page and like is showing all the other three, and it's like, oh, look at baby Carmen.
Oh, there's the Carmen I recognize.
Yeah.
It's a great picture.
You look so different. That's a glow up right there.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're still giving me distressed energies both in this picture and now.
Yeah, I don't love looking at picture, like, I just don't like to dwell in the past, like, be in the moment, you know what I mean? Like, isn't this whole thing about, like, being in the moment? Maybe we should just stop looking at old pictures and just not talk about it at all.
It's okay. I think we all had awkward teenage phases. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, we're here to make memories, like, for now, right? So, like, maybe we just, like, shouldn't maybe we should just blanket rule, say we're not gonna talk about the past at all. That sounds like a
And
fun ground rule.
as you say that, you see Yata and Shingu kind of like Pink Panthering their way in the back, and Yata just leans down to Myto and whispers, "You should check page 17. It has been so nice to meet all of you. Shingu will be back to get you guys. If you need anything, Shingu lives right next door. So,
Auntie,
oh,
are we staying here, or are we going to I just want to like put my stuff in my room, you know?
yeah.
Oh,
The rooms are all upstairs. There's 2 floors. You guys can pick whichever
Oh,
room you'd like.
amazing. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
This food is amazing.
Oh, I
Seriously, it's really good. Thank you.
please drink water. Please drink water. And also if you need, and at this point, Shingu's kind of like pulling her by the arm out. And if you guys need anything, again, Shingu will be right outside, and it'll be just be all. And then you just hear
Thank
the
you,
voice fade as the
Auntie.
doors close.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Gabriel's plate is piled with like more desserts than anything else. And I think it becomes apparent to everybody that he has maybe a sweet tooth, as he's just like eating all the fruits and all the sweet things. And while he's chomping, he goes, "Okay, so they're gone. Um, I didn't think we were having a huge gathering. Sorry about that, folks. I genuinely didn't know." As he's chomping between bites of a mango, probably.
I'll, I'll
Think
say.
while you
Okay.
guys have a conversation about this, Carmen like roodles in her handbag to pop a Xanax and just
Oh,
like
Carmen!
sit. And while she's looking in her bag, she just like leans over to Tom and is like, "Is the tap water here safe to drink?
Huh?
Is the tap water safe to drink?"
Probably.
Probably works. And she like takes her Xanax with the tap
That
water.
probably works.
And then
Uh,
just waits for it to kick in while y'all talk.
I'm gonna say
Tom,
that. Oh,
go ahead.
so I was gonna say that as someone who is more used to eating canned tuna, cup of noodles, a fruit here and there, some green juice, the buffet in front of him is an incredible welcoming gift. So there is no plate, but plates that he
Mm,
took the liberty to sort of grab a little bit of everything, except like in different, like the fruit section, the dessert section, the meat section, the bread, everything just like spread out. So he's just like taking from everything and enjoying all of it. And his attention definitely turned to the picture when Myto showed it because there is a high chance that there are not as many pictures of Orúno in the book as there are of everybody else. So the fact that that picture is there is not something that he knew was there.
Yeah, and I think they were only baby pictures of you that
Mm-hmm.
might have noticed.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of the antithesis of both Gabriel's and Orúno's plate, where everything is just like piled up in multiple. Uh, Myto's plate is very like type A, where there's like a eighth of like a piece of meat, and then like a quarter of veggies, and then another quarter of rice, and another quarter of beans. And Myto is just kind of like eating one bean at a time, just like flipping through this, and is like, this is a little overwhelming. So we were all brought here for a family reunion.
mhm.
Um,
Hmm.
and the whole town is coming to see us?
Seems like
Mm,
it.
yeah, I mean, the last time we had a gathering like this, like our parents came, and like he gestures over to you, Myto. It's like, our parents were here and we chatted, and it was like this whole big thing. Um, I I don't know about the rest of you, but Tom Tom and I only received like named invitations for each of us.
Is there something specific that we should expect or do? This is my
I
first
have
time.
no idea.
I don't
It
know.
seems like it was just our generation that was invited. It seems because like our mom didn't get invited, and
Mm.
Myto, was Grandma invited?
No, but I think she did want some souvenirs. So
We can
Yeah,
definitely get that.
it didn't seem like a whole like big scary thing for everyone else. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it's like a special like celebration that only happens like in once in a few years. Maybe it's an anniversary or something.
For like
So
our
I
generation.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's I'm just it's just well I kind of didn't know about this family or that I was a part of this family till very recently with this invitation. So yeah, I'm just a little lost. Hoping to
Uh,
not mess it up, I
oh,
guess.
You're not gonna mess up.
yeah, it's gonna be completely fine, Orúno. Um, all you gotta do is enjoy the food. I'm sure there'll be more food at the gathering later. Chat to all the aunts and uncles that probably will want to come and say hi, and I think that's all there is to it. It's just gonna be a nice social reunion. Your batteries might just be a little zapped after tonight, but then tonight we're gonna sleep so well and nothing weird or untoward's going to happen.
and almost emotionless as Mito's eating, and it's just like, well, there might be something a little bit more because Grandma Luna didn't let me send my drone this time, and it's just like eating. So we might need to be
Your
on
what?
guard. Um, so usually when there's family events and stuff, I just send a little robot drone with my face on it. Um, because work back at home is pretty intensive, and I don't want to leave the farm there. So I built something to just show face literally on a little tablet and say hi, and then I fly back home. Well, not me. My drone flies back home, and then I can keep working.
Can I get one of those?
What would you use it for?
It would just be really nice to like remote into events and stuff. I can totally give you a shout out on my page.
What is a shout out?
It's just like, like I can just like give you like a link in bio.
Um, what does that have to do with my tech? Are you buying? Do you want me to build you something?
Well, like buying is like such a harsh word. Do you know what I mean? It would be more like you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
I don't like
Like,
to be touched.
yeah, we can talk about this later. Continue.
Okay. Um,
uh, Meanwhile, Gabriel's being a typical annoying elder sibling because I've been the victim of this many a time. Um, and reaches over to Tom's plate and snacks a dessert.
Hey,
It's taste. It's like what? It's tastier when I steal it from you because you always make that face.
Mm.
I feel like
And I
if
shift my plate to the side so that Gabriel can reach it a bit easier.
I feel like if Stitches is somewhere nearby, whatever might Stitches might be eating, Orúno is gonna try to also like offer them a little bit, just to like see their reaction, see if we can. Like Orúno is on a mission to befriend Stitches.
Stitches grabs it, but then runs back around to his little cup.
Yeah, he once he takes it, he doesn't press it. He just sort of like hands it over. Just
So that's an interesting question. Was Stitches there in the last reunion?
Remember, he was in the background, but a lot of people thought he was just like a stuffed animal or a cat, and it's kind of hard to explain that Stitches is kind of my emotional.
yeah, what is he?
Emotional support creature.
Yeah, but what kind of?
What do you think he is?
I don't know. I honestly I don't know. I really don't know.
Is he like a rescue, or did you like get him from a breeder?
Rescue only. Yeah.
Aw,
Mhm.
that's cute.
Yeah.
Because we're like, like adopt, don't shop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a rescue breed. Looks over at Orúno.
What's the breed's name?
You know, I don't think that matters.
I'm just curious. I would like to learn more about Stitches. It's just
And at this point, Stitches like runs around and is like holding out a little paw in front of you.
I mean, like, I'm just curious, like, is it like forget the breed for like 1 second? I know it's like complicated question. Blah, blah, blah. Is it like a dog
Yeah.
or like a cat
Yes.
that's
or
not-
like a monkey? Like,
Yep.
what is?
that,
So yeah, if you kind of take all of those concepts in a metaphoric sense and kind of play around with more of the ideals of what a dog or a cat or a monkey may or may not be, and instill it into my teddy, that's Stitches.
Sorry, are you
Aw.
saying that you metaphorically put 3 animals into a teddy bear?
I literally did it, and points over at Stitches. Not metaphorically, literally.
What?
Or sort of chuckles like, and then he looks at Stitches with the hand, and he just has that moment of,
Oh, Myto is so incredibly talented as Gabriel attempts to like normalize and diffuse this very, very strange conversation. And if Myto is so comfortable, Gabriel kind of like puts an arm around you if Myto's okay with it and like squeezes your shoulders. Like that is so cool. You need to tell us more about your projects.
Yeah, I would love to, but sometimes when I try to talk about my projects, a lot of times people don't listen, and then it just makes me feel like, why even try?
Well, I'd like to hear about it. And he like sits cross-legged by you and continues to reach over and get more desserts and chomps on even more desserts. he's cleaning the dessert plates. And he's over to Carmen. Carmen, you need to eat something. Gonna be talking a lot in 4 hours.
You're talking to Carmen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmen has been like filling up her plate with fruit. I think even though she doesn't feel hungover anymore, she's cognizant that like heavy carbs and stuff would like not make her feel very good right now. So she's been like chomping away on some like tropical fruit. And she just okay, so like love the teddy dog monkey, but to like bring it back a little. So do you think we're gonna have to like talk to a lot of people tonight? Like,
Almost certainly.
because
it's a family
I
reunion.
I just feel like I really wasn't like prepared for this, and I'm feeling like a little confused about why they change it when there's like I know they mentioned like the weather or whatever, but like surely everybody else has also planned for this to be tomorrow. So it just feels like so weird when there's like indoor space, you know what I mean? To have it even with the bad weather, like why are they changing it? Cuz like that just feels like so like weird. Because,
As
like,
soon as you
we could just have
mention
it inside. Like, this is a big room and, like, there's, like, a whole feast and stuff in here. So, like, just feels like, I don't know, it's so weird that they would change it.
Gabriel's face falls, I think, as soon as you mention that this could have been indoors, and his brow furrows a little bit.
Yeah, Orúno
And
doesn't like this.
I suppose so. And I think, Tom, you see that Gabriel's like making the face where he's like thinking really hard and is a little unsettled about the lore that we are uncovering of like, oh, this could have been indoors. Maybe they're planning a barbecue.
I'd just assume it was
Like,
something
grilled
traditional.
meats here. Do you know what I mean? Like, inside. So,
Hmm.
Have
just
you
feels.
seen an indoor grill? I've never seen an indoor grill. What's
I don't know.
kitchens? I don't know.
Thinks about that one TikTok video of the person like cooking things on their bed. With the like
Oh my
little
god, I
mini
hate that
grill.
account. That gives me such anxiety. I think Carmen I don't think has like realized in a serious way that like what she said was like maybe like important in some way. And she just takes out her phone and the main thing she's thinking about is that Auntie Yara was like kind of a bitch. So she starts like was like so like sassy to her about her drinking. So she starts like looking up like whatever boomer social media app that like Auntie Yara would be on to like try and get some info on Auntie Yara. Like,
Oh
how is
my
she
god.
related to us? Because she's like the social
Facebook.
media girl, right? So I think she's just like looking on her phone to try and get some like, not necessarily like tea on Auntie Yara, but she's just trying to figure out like, this feels like a lot for like 5 younger cousins. Do you know what I mean? Like a whole ass feast when like this is supposed to be like a family reunion. Like, why are they pulling out all the stops? Like, and then she was a bitch to me, so like fuck Auntie Yara. So she's just like looking shit up.
Roll me 2d6s, just 2d6 flat, and I will ask everyone as well after this roll what everyone is going to be doing for the next like 3 or 4 hours before Shingu comes back.
Do I get to like add anything to it? Because I'm so good at social media.
Nope.
Sick. That's a 3 and a 4, so that's a 7.
7.
Oh, okay.
You don't find anything. Realize that you try spelling her name like a million different ways, but you're not finding anything.
I like find her profile, but it's just like an empty profile picture, and all that's on the feed is like every time it's her birthday, it's like just a bunch of people being like, "Happy birthday!"
And it's not even that. It's got like the profile picture is like a picture from like a 1997 anime.
Sick.
You're not finding any photos of her or anything or any linkages to family names, you know.
It's
Can't
like
find
her
anything.
burner account. Can I do the same for oh my god, our other friend? Can you remind me of his name?
Shingo.
Shingu?
Shingu?
Yeah. Can I do the same for Shingu?
It's gonna be the same role, and you are not gonna find anything of him. He is in his 60s and has a Myto would know. You wouldn't, but Myto would know that he has not left the village. Myto would have seen pictures of him growing up.
With the fact that she can't find anything online, kind of against her better judgment, she turns to me and says, "Can I just look at that little scrapbook right quick? The little journal or whatever."
Yeah, for sure. But hold on, and then like takes the picture of your weird teenage phase and like stuffs it in his backpack real quick, and then like hands it to you. Here you go.
Not the
Thank
blackmail.
And then she starts trying to look for like pages on both of them to see like if there's
Okay.
anything she can glean from that.
So I'll take a step back. So Carmen starts doing that. How is everybody else, even including Carmen, going to be spending the next 3 hours?
Putting together a fierce outfit.
Yeah, I think Tom wants to, like, after Tom finishes her plate, with the help of my lovely big brother, um, I am gonna just take my stuff upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna find a room. I don't think Tom necessarily cares what room she gets. Do we all have our own room, or are we sharing rooms? What's the situation?
There's more than 5 rooms available. You find there's like 5 rooms on the 2 floors above you each.
Okay, cool. Then Tom will just pick one. Um, based solely on vibes. I think I like poke my head into like I go to one floor and I look at all the rooms on that one floor and I just pick one based on vibes. Um and I'll just toss all my stuff in there and start unpacking my clothes. I think just so that my suit jackets don't wrinkle or just that stuff doesn't wrinkle any more than they already are wrinkled. And I think there's like maybe just a 30 minutes of Tom just in the room, um, putting stuff into the drawers, basically unpacking from the suitcases. Because Tom is very much not the lives out of the suitcase while on vacation
Mm-hmm.
type person. So I'm gonna unpack my stuff. I think I have like a jewelry, like a travel jewelry case that I opened, and we can see like Tom's jewelry laid out. I have not a ton of makeup, but decent amount of makeup. Is there like a shared bathroom or like
Yeah, there's
what's
gonna be 2 bathrooms on each floor.
amazing? So then I just keep the makeup, I think on a vanity or dresser or whatever. But I'm just unpacking, and then I think after I'm done doing that, I think Tom will eventually wander back downstairs, and I think she wants to look at the scrapbook, but wants to wait until until everyone else has kind of like had a go at it. But a important thing that I think Tom unpacks is a smaller bag containing like Tupperware of cookies because I think Tom made food for people to hand out at this reunion. So um, if there's like a side table, there's just like Tupperware. And you know how you go out and buy like new plastic Tupperware from like the
Mm.
Ziploc branded plastic Tupperware. And so Tom has prepared all of them that with like different cookies and they're tied with ribbons. And the ribbons have been like curled with the scissors to make them all like curly. And it just looks nice. And there's like a bunch of them because Tom didn't know who she was gonna meet here, so just brought a bunch of gifts.
Well,
Else, somebody else. Oh, um, probably Orúno would have looked for if there is anywhere near this building an area that looks toward the water. When he went up to look for a room, if he could have looked to see if there was a room that had a view toward the water, he would have picked that. Um, he would have just dropped his backpack, his huge backpack there, contact his mom to let her know that he's there. Probably also let her know about the whole event thing and if she knows anything about it. Uh, and eventually he would have attempted also to get a hands on the scrapbook from Myto, uh, likely going actually downstairs to like the outdoors just to take in the view while browsing through this scrapbook to see if there are, knowing that he doesn't know pretty much most of these people, but to see if he either recognizes images of maybe his mom, maybe his grandparents, or just like faces that look kind of like family, like that person kind of looks like my mom, or that person kind of looks like my grandparents. Uh, if there would and if there's a hammock anywhere tied up by trees, he definitely would have hopped on that to do this, most likely falling asleep at some point.
I think Carmen, she's gonna put together a fierce outfit, but I think she's looking for the room with south facing windows. That way she can get the best light to shoot content. She's also alarmed and super anxious that there isn't a room with an ensuite because you said there's 2 bathrooms on every floor, right?
Yep.
So she's doing a delicate dance between trying to find a room with the best light and also closest to the bathroom because she doesn't want to like fight people for getting ready time. So before she gets ready, she like charges up her ring light and her camera, and goes up to her room to like vlog a room tour and just be like, "Hey guys, like I've arrived. I'm definitely like a little jet lagged, but we're here and we're gonna be like doing a family event. So like I won't be able to like vlog that because I like can't blur out everybody's faces or whatever. But like, I'll check in with you guys after. Bye."
Um, Gabriel will spend a bit of time while chomping on food and while Tom Tom's upstairs settling in, reading through the scrapbook, trying to memorize all the faces and names of folks in there. Uh, and I think he's looking at a lot of the like younger photos of all the adults that are, I know that we're adults too, but like the grown-ups, the seniors, and all of their like past memories and trying to get a feel for them. And then eventually he'll settle upstairs and also try to put together not necessarily a fierce outfit. He's going for the good boy look. He's got a batik print shirt that he's going to wear with some respectable trousers that he's going to fold at the hem so that if this is outdoors, he does not know where exactly we're going, so he doesn't want to get any of the clothes dirty. And I think he spends the next few minutes kind of just like in his head and also semi out loud practicing greeting a lot of these other adults that he's going to be meeting. And it's just like, hi, Auntie, hi, Uncle. And like he's just like going through all of that. He is so determined to put his best foot forward in this reunion.
And you find Myto trying to find a room that outfaces towards the jungle or like very lush greenery, and immediately they open up the windows and lets Stitches like sit on the windowsill and like run around and like jump through the trees and stuff. And unlike everybody else, Myto didn't have too much luggage, but they kind of whip out something from the back, and she like presses a button, and it almost like opens up into this like makeshift like science desk where like they can kind of put everything that they've collected with like plant specimens and soil samples, and they're just very amazed at like how rich and lush this place is, and is almost like overwhelmed by the sense of life. And they can tell that it's not like botanical or biology. Like they feel the life in this environment that they've been brought to, and it's something that they can't really put their finger on, which is weird. um, and I think when Myto dresses up, they just have like this like loose cardigan that they throw on, and then they run downstairs, and kind of goes to the window and looks up and like just like snaps twice at Stitches and like gets Stitches to like bring her like some of the leaf samples from like the third floor, and just kind of like taking it all in. Like this is what family is like, I guess, because Mito's only really been around his grandma and grandpa, and it's like, oh, it's thinking to himself, it's just like, well, people have some weird personalities, but um, family's family. And I think I think at one point when Tom is handing out all the cookies, uh, immediately opens up the cookies and is like, "Oh, Tom, uh, cooking baking is a science. Are you science inclined?"
Uh, no, just the baking part.
Just so you know, you'd be a great scientist. And then you just like Mito is like talking with like a mouthful of cookies that you've cooked, that you've baked.
Oh, Yeah, you can have one of these, sure.
Oh, were these for the elders? I'm sorry.
They were, but I made so much, so you
Oh,
can have
good.
them. It's
And
fine.
Myto like grabs another box on the table and like kind of scatters off back up to
Oh,
his room.
okay.
They're
So
really good.
I think Tom was distracted doing I don't know what, and didn't even hear you like come in. So when you just start talking with your mouth full, Tom had like whipped around like, whoa, like what are you doing in this room? Um, and I think she just chuckles to herself um and looks at the stack of cookie containers, now -2, and will think just finish arranging like stuff on a vanity, and is going to go look for where Gabriel picked for a room.
It's probably the small room of the house.
Okay. So I find the smallest room, full knowing there's other rooms available because there's more rooms than us.
You hear
Uh,
him muttering to himself as he's like folding up his sleeves, looking over an outfit.
Gab,
Oh, hi, Tom, come in.
hi. How's unpacking going?
Uh, and you take a look, and it's pretty neat. He hasn't completely unpacked all the clothes. He's kind of left them in the suitcases. Well, not suitcase. His little traveling bag. They're all still neatly
Mm-hmm.
folded in there, but they're sat on like a chair at the corner of the room or something, and he's standing in front of a standing mirror, just adjusting his look.
You nervous?
Yeah, it's just been a while since we've seen the whole family. And it's just us, for the cousins. So I just want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward. And yeah, I haven't seen a lot of folks since 10 years ago. You know,
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah,
a lot's changed since then, and I just want to make a good impression.
it's understandable. I mean, but who couldn't like you? And I'm like just gonna nudge you.
He smiles, but there's a slight dark glimmer that kind of like flashes across his eyes. As I'd like to think that the window that he's occupied is facing whatever like branch that Stitches might be playing with, and having a good time. And I think his eyes linger on Stitches for a moment, and then he like falls out of that and looks back at you with a bright smile, as if that moment where the mask slipped didn't even happen. You're absolutely right, and you are going to have so much fun. You weren't there for the last reunion, so you're going to talk to every auntie and every uncle. They're going to be asking about you, so you're going to have so much fun. I'm sure there's going to be so much good food.
I'm hoping I impress them. I brought cookies.
They're going to love them, and they're going to love you.
Oh, thanks. Um, I'm gonna probably go look at that scrapbook that Auntie Yara brought, and then
Yeah.
probably I might just take a nap till we have to. I'm so tired.
Yes. Please do. We're gonna, well, maybe you don't know, but the last time we had this reunion, it went on to the wee hours. So get that nap in.
Oh
Get that
boy.
nap in.
Okay.
Once they break out those plastic chairs and decide to sit around and talk, we're in it for the long
Yes.
haul. Mm.
Very true. All right. Thanks.
Mm.
And I
I
think I'm
love
just
you.
gonna give you
It's
like
gonna be
a
okay.
awkward side hug.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
he's gonna give you the side hug and he'll just say, "I love you. It's gonna be okay."
I love you too. So much so that I still have 2 macarons if you want.
Yes, please. His eyes and face light up. Yes, please.
And I imagine I turn on my heel and, shadowed by you directly, walk back to my room
Yes.
where I reach into like the bottom of my bag and I have a little small container containing two more macarons that I saved the entire trip to give you once we got here.
This
And
man
I'm gonna
chomps on it like it's the body of Christ. Like he's nibbling on it. And he's having a great time.
you nibble the Eucharist. You don't just pop it in.
No.
What church are you at that you're nibbling?
You
Deep
must
lore
savor that
Valhalla,
little body.
apparently.
You
Savor that holy
savor
body.
That's so true. I mean, I guess if you're, if you actually follow the rules and you don't eat an hour before church, and then you have to sit through mass, and then you get the tiny little piece of bread, and you're really hungry. I mean, I
Mhm.
guess.
Nibble.
You guys hear like a knock on your door. Like, hey, cuzzies, it's Carmen. Can I come in?
She
She doesn't, and she doesn't really wait for you to say yes.
Yeah.
She just like she's ready. She's put her outfit on. Um, she just like flounces into your room and immediately makes herself like too comfortable. Like sits on your bed and is like, "How are you guys settling in? How's it going?" Like, "Oh my god, are you have macarons? Can I have one?" And again, doesn't wait for you to say yes. Just like overly familiar. Like takes the last macaron that had been shared for given to you and starts like eating it. It's like, oh my god, Tom, this is like so good.
If this
This is
room was
so
silent,
good.
you would hear the sound of Gabriel's heart breaking.
Carmen doesn't catch that at all. She's like, so you guys, little little anxious about this little reunion situation. Have you guys seen like Survivors? The
TV show
show?
Survivor.
Yeah, the TV show Survivor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so like how do you feel about like forming like an alliance?
For what?
For what?
For like, there's gonna be like a lot of like aunties and uncles there, and I'm just like I'm just concerned about like the auntie gossip train. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and like it's been like we don't have to get into the details. It's just been like a long time since I've like done anything with family, and I just feel like it would be good for us, like big city cousins. We're such good pals because we all live in the city. So like, I just feel like we could just like stick together, be like a little trio. I'll be like your third wheel, but not in like a weird way because you guys are siblings and not in, like weird, but like we could be like a little tricycle.
Um, and I think once Gabriel has gone over the grief of the macaron that is left, the little Tupperware, he says, and he I think looks over to you, Tom, and it's just like reading on how comfortable you are hanging out as a trio. If you'd rather like maneuver things alone,
I
sibling
think,
eye communication.
yeah, Tom is like 1,000 yards staring, just like straight forward because I think she is someone who like doesn't sit on her bed unless I'm wearing pajamas. Like that kind of like the outside clothes on the inside bed. I'm like very particular about that. Like I don't think Tom is a germaphobe, but I'm definitely like a stickler for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like very much a like shoes off at like I took my shoes off as soon as I got into this bedroom and I put them right by the door and all my other shoes that I brought are right by the door. And when you just came in and like sat on my bed, I think Tom did a little like oh jeez, but like didn't want to say anything. And then you ate my brother's macaron. And so I think Tom is just kind of like, oh my gosh, and just looks mildly uncomfortable, and is trying to figure out what to say. And I think the very quick, like, looks up at you, then back down, Gabriel
Mm-hmm.
as sort of like a help.
I
Yeah,
think I
I,
think
I
Carmen thinks that the silence is that y'all think this is a great idea. And
oh my god.
like you guys
I
think this is a great idea. She's like, okay, cool. So we're set. When we get to the reunion, I'll come find you guys and we can stick together because we're Team
Yeah,
Tricycle, right? Team
yeah.
Tricycle.
Woo!
Literally, the second you hear Team Tricycle, you hear a bang knock at the on the double doors below.
I need our audience to know that in her mind, Tom is thinking, I don't think Carmen has seen an episode of Survivor because that's not how this works. Um, and, and the knocking like jolts me out of my whatever. Just oh jeez, who was that?
I believe that's Uncle Shingu. Come, let's go. Team Tricycle! Yay!
And I'm gonna wait for the other two to leave the room first, and
Mm-hmm.
I just like straighten the bedspread until it's like flat again, and then I'll follow you downstairs.
For the sake of timing, I'm just going to say Shingu gathers all of you, however you are dressed. Some dressed to impress, some just dressed to get through an evening dealing with extended family. Your comfy clothes at best. And you guys head down as kind of the twilight. You see some stars coming out as the sun has begun to set. And before you even get close to the ceremony area, you hear beatings of drums and singing. Our five players find the village has gathered at the edge of this forest where they're drawn to the beating of drums and light singing, and they enter this sacred space where the dense canopy meets the serene beach. The space illuminated by flickering torches and bioluminescent flora. You guys all feel that this air is thick with this weird sort of anticipation as you enter in with the rest of the villagers. Shingu stops and nods as you all stand next to one another amongst the other villagers that are dressed in various tropical colors. And you find that you are facing a semicircle of faces that you remember seeing from the scrapbook. At the very center of this semicircle is Taina, your great grandmother. Those of you that read your scrapbook would have remembered her face, a very elderly black woman, maybe in her 90s, embodying the essence of a life well lived. Her skin is a deep shade of ebony, just etched with fine lines across her face that pave stories of joy, adversity, and triumph. Her hair is majestically silver, but held back with a scarf as red as the blood pulsing through one's own heart. And her eyes are just deep pools of brown, sharply holding both intelligence and passion at the same time. With long brown leather earrings hanging from each ear and a small scarf that whips just above her chest like a necklace, you know and you remember from the scrapbook that she is known for her wisdom that guides all of those in the village around her, known as a healer and deeply knowledgeable of the medicinal properties of the forest surrounding the village. And in the photo, you see her sitting next to who she is now standing next to, her husband, Kurumin. You all see you all see her raise her hand nearly simultaneously, almost as if it had been practiced. Music stops. The beating of the drums and the whispers of the delightful songs end as Tayana raises her hand and she looks to everyone and says, "The children of the earth and the sky, I am delighted to be with you here tonight as one family under the watchful eyes of our ancestors and the gentle glow of the moon above. This sacred tradition has been passed down through generations and is a testament to our enduring connection with the natural world. Many of you remember the previous reunion and the fight that was won by some no longer with us. But now, nearly 10 years later, Irasima has heard the wains of whispers from the spirits that guide us. And we have heard your questions of connection and stories being forgotten. and practices losing their steps. Although the ones that walked before us have guided our steps in this world, the gifts of the Boltu must be bestowed once again and forge a path of peace, prosperity, and continued unity with the whispers of the spirits. We have the children of the last ones, I believe. Many of you may remember them. The children of Miriam, Clarabelle, Amora, and Luna. Are you here with us? As she looks amongst the crowd.
I think we all like raised our hands. Like,
Just the only five not in these classic colors. It almost seems a little weird. Like everyone, it's a large yet somehow small village where everyone has this similar style. And so you five don't stand out by looks, but stand out by mostly what you're wearing. And she waves to all five of you. You five are the descendants of some of the most important members of this community, whether you may know it or not. Your parents and grandparents have steered us in the right directions when needed, and I apologize that your parents, and she looks at you, Myto, your grandparents did not tell you why we needed you here today. But I promise we have answers. Please come. I have gifts for you. Please come. And you see as she kind of reaches behind her, she stands up and takes out a bunch of these pillows, and this old 90-year-old lady is now carrying these 6 pillows as she puts them down on the sand in front of her, one for her as she kind of takes a seat. Please sit.
yep. Without hesitation, Gabriel kind of like steps forward. I think he like gestures for Tom to also follow him, and will take a seat and kind of less looking expectantly at great grandmother, but more at everyone else of like what's happening.
Yeah, I think Tom's carrying a big tote bag with all of my cookie containers in them, and I just set that bag down next to me and sit down on one of these big pillows. And I'm kind of looking at Gabriel and looking at everyone else like, what is going on? This is getting like weird. Like, I thought this was gonna be way more chill. This is like a whole formalized thing. But I'm just gonna sit down politely and just smile.
Yeah, I think Carmen also brought gifts like from the Nutrawave event that she'd asked her assistant to pack of like the product launches from I Can't Believe It's Not Broccoli. So she just like follows Tom's lead to put them down, her gifts down there, but also like leans towards the the woman and basically says like, "Hey, if this is like an experiential theater moment, you should know that like I don't deal with like physical touch or anything that like requires a volunteer, but so happy to be here." And sits down.
I'm going to say that Orúno, despite the confusion, there is a part of him that has already felt the energy and the being compelled by whatever is happening. I think it's part of his desire of like wanting to know. And at this point, he's sort of like all in, even though he's not sure what the all in means. So he just, after hesitation, he kind of joins Tom and Gabriel and sort of sits down expectantly.
Yeah, Myto's definitely the last one. Still very hesitant, but you see Stitches jump off and almost run straight to Great Grandma, and like circles her and like climbs up her shoulder and almost like nuzzles up against those big long leather earrings. And again, this isn't very normal of Stitches. Stitches is usually right by Myto's side, and just very casually climbs down her leg and goes sits on one of the pillows right in the middle, and almost like leading Myto to that spot. And Myto just scoops up Stitches and sits down.
I remember Stitches well from the last reunion. This won't make a lot of sense if I just explain it. So, a couple of you are just a bit different. And she kind of turns, and you see Yata just kind of walk over, and she has this kind of like not massive, but it's like a rather big bowl, and she places it down, kind of separating the five of you now in your own little circle, sitting across from it from your great grandmother. And inside there's this tiny little bit of like bioluminescent blue, like kind of like blue liquid, and you see her dip both hands into it, and she reaches out one hand to you, Myto, and one hand to you, Orúno. You two, you both, take my hands, let me show you. And you two take her hands, and everything goes black. And you feel as though your soul is sucked outside of you as the whole room turns black before you feel like you are being shot into a new scene. But you haven't left where you're sitting. And in fact, you're standing back where you were before. And you hear the same speech for the second time. Maybe. You see your great grandmother looking no younger than she had before. But this time, you see Miriam and Clarabelle, Amora, Luna, and a few other faces you don't recognize, even from the scrapbooks. See them having the same conversation, and again, everything goes black, almost as if the scene just disappears to your left. As the new scene to your right, you see all six of them standing in a row right in front of the ocean at the sand, not far from where you were just sitting, holding onto a rope as you watch them walk into the water and disappear. The scene completely changes again. Everything goes black, and you are brought into what can only be described as what you have heard of Atlantis. A huge city, 3 times the size of New York, at the bottom of the ocean. And you see Stitches off to the side of this vision, running and jumping on top of Luna's shoulder, as you see the 5 of them traverse into a room behind the door. And as you do, you start to see cracks in the vision. You see splatters of blood almost hitting this TV screen that is your vision right now. You hear crying. You hear the sounds of babies laughing. And then you hear Miriam say, "It will be okay. We're coming back." Before both of your visions flash back, and you come back to holding your great grandmother's hands. If you take a moment, it will slowly come back to you. But your family has been here before. And there's a reason Stitches remembers us. And she kind of just pulls her hand back and waits, kind of almost expectantly looking between you two and then looking between the 3 others. The linkage between our ancestors has been severed. We thought we repaired it about 10 years ago, and those of you, and she points at a few of you, that were here last reunion, you were sleeping while it happened, because it was not your job. It was not your role to be filled. It was not your time. And your parents and your grandparents thought they had fixed the link, but they had not. So now we need you, but for reasons I cannot really explain just yet, You two are the only ones I could show that to. Either you two can try to explain or I can do my best, but
You see Myto take a step back, but almost like with their right hand, like try to pull Orúno back with them, and in Myto's mind, everything has a logical explanation. So
Mhm.
kind of like whispering to Orúno was like, are we under some sort of like psychedelics? Did you just see what I saw? That uh Orúno, are you
Um, I Orino is not. He doesn't have an ability to be eloquent right now. Everything he just went through, he's rushing back. He's just kind of like repeating in his mind as his mind is trying to make sense of it all. Not just the vision itself, but the fact that he seemingly apparently just had a vision, which Myto has just commented also saw. There is information overload and an overwhelming sensation that just has him in this sort of state where it's kind of thousand yard stare. Uh, he's not looking at you. He's sort of looking into the distance.
can you just confirm that you saw the
I saw.
future, the past?
I don't. Uh, I saw. I saw something. So people. Um, you too.
Yeah. Uh, Gabriel, Tom, Carmen, have have we been here before? Have y'all been
No,
here before?
no.
No, I mean, not since last reunion.
Same to you.
what you
Um,
two saw was what's happened the last reunion when everyone else slept.
so, um, just so you know, uh, I may or may not be under psychedelics right now, but when I touched Great Grandma's hands, uh, I saw our parents and great grandparents, and they walked into the ocean, and Stitches was there, and there was this grand city, and I think everything will be okay. And you just kind of see Myto backpedal right back to where they were sitting, and is still just trying to process everything, and just sits down staring into the stars, like how what type like what is this vision?
I think Oruno is now his eyes are on Taina on Greg Grand. Just it's almost as if he's hoping that by looking long enough, things will make sense. Even though he doesn't really know.
The Botu, Resima, they are the person within our village who can travel between the lands of the living here and the place where the ancestral spirits lie. What many call the afterlife, but to them it's home. That place is deep in the water, and you can only get there if you are Irasima or if you are gifted things from the Botu. And she kind of pans behind her and waves at the majority of elders behind her are very, very old. The youngest being in their 40s. and most of them being 60s, 90s. They pans back to you five. We have each, for the most part, gone when we needed, when we were called by the Botu. But this time you five have been called to maybe help fix what your parents and your grandparents tried to fix. If you are willing. The Botu can give you ability to breathe in the water and can give you gifts. That's in your world you see only in the movies.
I forgive me, grandmother. And Gabriel finally pipes up. I have a hard time understanding this. I understand doing things for the family, a ritual that we need to complete for whatever we need to, but how do we play into this? Really?
Maybe I can show you.
All right.
And you see her kind of motion forward with the hand, and from the scrapbook you guys recognize who walks up. Haumi, one of your aunts, seemingly one of the younger ones in her 40s. You see in her photo that the truth was given away before you read anything about her. She is known as the seeker of wisdom and diplomacy, and Hauni is the elder to solve disputes in and outside of the village. You see her walking up with a small block of wood. As she walks up to you, a white passing woman, her short brown hair falling just above her shoulders, held in dreads with pieces of silver attached to a strand every so often. Her light eyes show years of hope, tranquility, and love. And you would know from the notes in the scrapbook that she was gifted the position of village diplomat after openly transitioning when she was 25, which the elders saw as a testament to the village that choosing to love oneself was the first step to understanding the kindness that the world needed. And you see Hauni walk up with this small wooden block to you, Gabriel, and she dips it one time into that blue liquid and holds out one hand for yours.
Gabriel looks once more towards Tom Tom in a look of like reassurance and then takes her hand.
As you take her hand, she kind of flips your hand over in this smooth motion and puts the block of wood on top of it and pulls you in closely before whispering, "You're just as worthy of protecting as the others around you are." And as she lets go, you see this, all five of you see this beam light. And Gabriel, what does it look like as you transform in front of the others?
Oh, that's sick as hell. I think the light that kind of like beams off upwards kind of starts off blue, but then shines almost metallic and turns silver, as it glistens all around him. His appearance doesn't actually change, but what you notice is that there are flecks in his arm of something metallic, and as he begins to enact this weird transformation, these flecks emerging on his deep brown skin, there's this strange echoing, whirring sound as if all air has left the room, or maybe the smell of ozone has been trapped into a spherical body. It hums all around him. And I think he kind of like emerges outward from this bright light and just stares down at himself and up at his aunt and at everyone else. What? What just happened?
You
What?
were glowing. Like literally.
Are you flying right now? Like, are you in the
I
air?
think no, I don't think he's flying yet.
Okay, okay.
But I think as
Yet.
Oh,
but I think what happens is because he doesn't understand how everything works. GM, I'm going to throw this at you. What's the most nearby metallic object?
The most nearby metallic object would be the chair, the small chair that she was sitting on next to her husband.
As soon as all of you are like, you were glowing, Gabriel's pupils widen in shock and surprise, and then swift as light, the metallic chair slams against the bottom half of his leg. And he looks down. And then as soon as like focus regains, the suction towards his skin begins to dissipate, and the metallic chair just tumbles down onto the ground again.
What the hell?
So, magnetism is what the Boto has gifted you.
I think Gabriel just is so flabbergasted of what has just come to pass. And this gift is what we need to help the family.
That is the one thing I cannot answer. Irasima knows what the ancestors needs, and not always do the ancestors tell us why.
Gabriel looks incredibly unsettled. His brows are furrowed, and I don't even think he makes it all the way to his little cushion that he was sat on. He just kind of like tumbles into the sand right by where their chair is, and I think you hear the chair just rumbling a little bit close to his skin as he's still trying to process what has just happened to him.
just to confirm, everybody saw that, right?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And is Yara nearby?
Yata is. She's behind.
I think Carmen looks at Yara and is like, "What the hell did you put in that food? Is this some sort of like ritual ayahuasca trip? Because I think like informed consent should be an important part of that. Like, I'm down now that we're here, but like that feels like a
So
lot."
are you saying that out loud, or are you just giving a look?
She's saying that out loud, fully out loud. She
Okay.
is, yeah.
You see what you guys remember from the scrapbook, Maia, the sister to Kurumin. You see Maia start walking towards you as you begin to talk. And Maia's gaze is, as she starts walking towards you, but also not exactly towards you, is met with one eye on the right side of her face and a long scar from both the photos and now you see in person covering most of the left side of her face with a very white complexion, with just an empty socket of where, the other eye would have been. Her nose is pink from the cool breeze of the wind, and her hair is held rather tightly back into a silver bun in the back. And you see these small pieces of greenery strung throughout her head, as if like a small crown of forest leaves are holding the strays of her hair from blowing away. It's no surprise then that you guys had also read in the scrapbook that she is training under your great grandmother in the ancient ways of healing. And she keeps eye contact with you, Carmen. Even though you're not looking at her, you're talking to your aunt. And she is looking at you as she walks up to Shingu and takes something from him. And then walks back up to where the bowl is. And your great grandmother goes, "This is Maia. This is my sister-in-law. Do you know sign language, or can you only speak with your mouth? Yes, to Carmen.
Yeah, I can only speak with my mouth, but it's on like my bucket list to do like an ASL Duolingo situation. Eventually.
Well, Maia is not able to speak. And you see Maia, there's like this tiny little tear that is coming out of her eye as she looks at you. And you see her kind of open her hands that have been together, and she's holding your phone.
Is she holding it out like she's trying to
Not
give it to
out
me?
towards you, she's just holding it out. And your great grandmother says, please, if you would like your phone, you must. She needs your hands as well.
She goes to grab the phone, but also like that needs to like I guess she has to touch her hands to do that.
Mhm.
So she does that.
So as you do that, right as you try to quickly grab them away, or the phone away from Maia, you realize at the last moment you see that little bit of blue liquid that had been in the bowl before is actually on your phone right now. And in an instant, you see Maia break your phone in half and grab both hands. So in each of your hands, you now hold one of Maia's hands and a piece of your phone. And you just see Maia mouth waits for it as she slams your two hands together. And as you pull your hands back, what does your transformation look like?
Oh, what does the transformation look like? I think it at first you see this like guttural, like intense rage coming from Carmen because just broke her phone. So like you know those videos when a parent like turns off a kid's PlayStation and they just go absolutely ape shit. We're watching like almost in slow-mo the beginning of that, and as like Carmen's mouth opens for like a true scream, like not like a bit scream, like a real scream, you see her eyes go white and the inside of her mouth like is glowing white too. And as is about to scream, it's actually like kind of an internal silent scream, and you see her hair start to like float, um like almost as if she's in water. And as she screams, you don't hear anything, but you see the bioluminescence, the electricity in the water, in the fish, you know, sharks and everything have bioluminescence as well. All the sea life that has any sort of electricity going all starts to glow. So imagine like the ocean just like fully glowing, and instead of a scream coming from her you hear this crack of lightning from the sky, and it's so loud and so intense. And she doesn't have necessarily like a physical transformation, but you see she's put together an outfit that is like she thinks she's going to like a tropical party but wants to show off her like South Asian roots like at the family reunion. So she's kind of wearing like not a sari but like a cool girl sari. You know how like if you go to like a Bollywood movie premiere, all the actresses wear these like cool girl saris, but it's like zip up at the back. She's wearing one of those, and it's like this creamy pearly color, and you see it glow like a shocking white as she's like having this internal scream, and you see like all this bioluminescence and the lightning going everywhere. And then when it closes, she looks at this lady and is like, "You bitch! That's my phone!" She just
And
hasn't even.
you look down and realize the phone is gone.
She's in shock, fully in shock. And she hasn't clocked that just happened. She has no idea. Are you gonna pay for that? That's my job. You all just
As
saw
you
that,
say-
right? You saw
As
her
you
break my
say
phone.
that, as you say that, roll me unleash your powers.
Ooh.
So roll 2d6 plus freak. Actually,
Okay.
yep, no, that's good.
Okay. That'll be a 5.
Now roll me, because you rolled under a 7. Roll me take a powerful blow. Just 2d6.
6.
A 6? Okay. On a 6, nothing crazy, but as you say, are you gonna pay for that? It's almost as if the room goes silent and you hear Aya's breath out slowly. And as you hear her breathe out, you feel like you are now chained to the pillow, as if the weight of 100 pounds now sits on your legs. And you just see your great grandmother. Aya is one of the few who came back with the Botu and kept her powers at a cost. She is here to calm people when things are a little out of hand. Gifted the powers of, to say it in less, electricity, which is arguably one of the most dangerous. And your mother had just as much of a temper as you do. And your mother may not have told you what happened when she was not able to control things. But you will learn on your own if you can't.
I think Carmen is feeling that feeling like when you're under a weighted blanket, you know?
Mhm.
Like, but times a billion. And she just goes, I don't know what you mean. I'm an empath. But it's like slowly dissociating.
And we just see Carmen's eyes kind of glaze over as she disassociates back into the, no, everything's fine. If I just stay in my Zen moment, it'll all be okay. And make me, everyone else, except for Carmen, make me an assess the situation roll.
Oh, do I get right?
So 2d6 plus superior.
I do not
And
get right.
it won't be necessarily what the questions are here, but you may or may not see something. 5. Give me a thumbs up if you got 7 or above. So everyone but Orúno's still focused on everything that just happened and is disassociating himself. You 3 see that tear that was falling down Maia's cheek, almost anti-gravity, pull back into her eye as she stands up and turns back to walk back to the elders. Taina now reaches out. Oh, did you say something? Taina, without holding anything, reaches out a hand for Orúno now.
Bruno looks at the hand and then looks at Taina, and emotion starts welling up as he just looks at her and he goes, "Is this a dream?"
No, but what you will probably feel in the next bit will feel like a dream because you're not used to it. You will need to balance what is real and what is truth, because those two are not always the same.
He takes a deep breath and just goes for the hand.
And you hold onto her hand, and as your eyes almost close on their own, and you hear her voice one last time in the back of your head saying, "You have long been away from the family, but the family has always been with you. Listen for the voice." I need you to roll me Unleash Your Powers. 2d6 plus freak.
That is a 12.
Now, you hear the voices of your parents. Most clearly, you hear the voice of your mom. And you hear them talking in the kitchen. The vision is blurry, but you can, with a 12, you can piece together that you're in your kitchen growing up. But it looks older than it did before. And the faces of your parents become more clear, and you hear these footsteps along the ground. But you can't see the footsteps, but you can see how short what seems to be a child. Madre, padre, es en serio I'm going to have a brother? No, but I'm so excited. When is he coming? When is he coming? And the voice just starts to disappear. As you see your mom pick this kid up, and you hear her voice, no, hijo, it's okay. You have so much time. You have so much time. He will be here very soon. And even with a 12, you hear these muffled, but you can make out what this child is saying. And then for what seems like a moment, with a 12, you see these dark pearls of a child that is 5 or 6, and the warmest brown eyes as he's dropped down to the floor by your mother, and you see him hug his face to a pregnant belly of your mom before you are brought back. And as you are brought back, what does your transformation look like?
Orúno gasps as he's being pulled back to the present. And when he opens his eyes, there is this glow that is a tint of green as he gasps and sort of recoils, sort of like pulls back. And he just has a moment where he sort of stumbles, falls on his back. He's just gasping and is disoriented. And he is wearing a shirt that sort of like keeps the forearms open. He has these tiny freckles that seem to begin to glow at first, like little specks, and then slowly the glow starts to add up as this basically sort of carved in skin level layer of almost like algae kind of layer starts to sort of appear like a tattoo on his forearms and sort of rolls through his arms, reaching to the side of his neck, his eyes glowing. And while he's disoriented and trying to get up, he sort of pats his hands on the ground. And as he pats his hands on the ground, this psychic constructs on his palms basically create a ejection that sort of forces his body forward as he falls forward, manages to grab the Grana Taina's hand, and when he grabs it, he also suddenly can feel this heat of energy that is coming from her, not knowing that he's actually perceiving her life force through his contact. And it's this memory playing around as he keeps seeing it over and over, overlapping, like going back and forth, like rewinding. And he sees that he finds himself in different parts of the room, not knowing what to do with it. Like he tries to look in one direction, doesn't know, tries to look in another direction. And at one point, it's almost like he thinks, I wish she'd look at me. And all of a sudden, as he says, I wish she'd look at me, he sees his mother's face turn in his direction. And that moment is the moment where he lets go of the hand again and just sort of goes like, no, no, and just lands as he falls on the ground, panting, now with these algae green markings around his arm and on the sides of his neck. His eyes forever changed to this supernatural green that resembles the green of the ocean. And he's just, who was, who, who was that?
There are things that I cannot answer. But when you go to the place of your ancestors, they may be able to. But, and she kind of reaches out for your hand and squeezes it much tighter. Like you can almost feel like her life vitality wane a little bit by how tight she squeezed your hand for a second. But you must be careful. Because if you continue to search for answers for too long, the answers will find you instead. And she kind of just lets your hand go as you see that she kind of sits back a little bit and takes a deep breath and turns back to her husband, Kurumin. And she motions him over as she almost, it seems like she's catching her breath a bit as well. And Kurumin is your great grandfather, remembering from the scrapbook. He embodies the eternal youthfulness in his eyes. He walks up, lightly tanned skin covered in wrinkles, just as his wife's. And if it were not for the smallest part of the smallest part in his thick gray and brown beard, you wouldn't see the smug, just joyful, childlike smile that is seemingly bestowed to any grandparent gifted the blessing of a long life. And you can see his hands as he walks up, marked with years of craftsmanship of wear and tear. He walks up and says, Tamsyn, this is for you. This is your gift. And
Thompson
he
will
holds to you just this like 3-foot wooden stick.
Thompson stands, reaching into the tote bag and pulls out a thing of cookies, and
Oh,
will offer the cookies to him, and will take the stick.
oh, oh, I think I have a much better gift. This is great. Oh, I love this. And he has already forgotten about this stick that he has given you, which for as fine of a craftsman as he is, truly to all 5 of you, it looks like he picked up a stick from the forest a few feet away. And oh, thank you so much. And he gives you this big hug. Oh, and he just opens it and starts like kind of walking away, nibbling. Oh, here you go. Gives one
You're not
to his
allergic to
wife.
anything, right?
I will find out if I am. And just kind of in this like youthful 95-year-old way, you see as he turns, he's already got like crumbs on his beard.
Yeah.
enjoyed the stick. And he turns back, like wobbly into his seat, and you see him kind of like plump back down into his seat, like the crumbs now falling onto his belly.
Um, and after I hand the cookies over, I place like I'm holding it kind of like in front of me. Um, sorry, I'm hearing an echo. Threw me off. Um, sorry, can you mute, Chris? Thank you. Okay. Tom is holding a stick uh in her hands just in front of her. And I think unlike everyone else so far, there is no big glowy light. There's no really any visible anything at all. Instead, I think as I put my second hand on this stick, um, there's the slightest bit of breeze that I think just blows through my curls, which Tom usually wears her hair back in like a ponytail and probably had it in a really messy bun on the plane. But for this ceremony tonight, she's worn it down. And as the wind sort of just gently caresses her hair, um, she there's almost like an almost imperceptible glow, like a sudden like as if a little bit of sunlight shines on me for but a moment. um Tom doesn't seem to notice any of this and is just kind of looking down and looking up and looking around and like begins to think like, oh, like what is happening, and then looks up and just says thanks. Is this sorry, is this supposed to do something?
It will do something when you are ready for it to.
This is the stick.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a really nice stick. I'm sorry. I'm being so rude. This is a very nice stick. Thank you for the
You're
gift.
welcome.
And I think the only other change that you all notice is that any imperfections in not Carmen, in Thompson's hair or skin or like wrinkles in clothing that she's wearing is now gone. Um, if Tom had any pimples, they are gone. I think her hair is, um, it was styled very nicely before, but I think from this moment on, her hair will never tangle, will never look bad. I will never have a bad hair dye ever again. um, and I think, but Tom has this very perplexed, confused expression on her face because everyone else seemed to have these visions, to have like to rise up in the air, powers manifesting, and I was handed a stick. And I think she's trying not to be any more rude than she already has and is probably flushing, embarrassed. And she sits back down and just lays the stick across, across my folded legs, um, and I think just lays her hands over it and waits to see what happens to Myto. You're muted.
Again, every single time. Um, you sit down with your stick, pimples gone, blemishes vanished. The skincare routine that Carmen has been looking for some time. And you sit down, and Myto, out of the corner of your eye, Yata. walk back up. And she kneels down in front of you. I don't need your hands for this because you need no gift. You have your grandmother's eyes, and that's all you need. And if you are willing, she will lean her forehead towards you and kind of put a hand on the back of yours to touch temples.
Myto leans in.
As you touch your head, it's almost as if you see her eyes for a moment change to that blue liquid in the bowl, as in your own vision, as if it's washing over, your vision washes over. And you begin to see flashes of the upbringing of Stitch's life. You begin to see it almost from an outside point of view, where you were writing all of these notes and compiling. You had the post-it notes and like this murder board all four corners of your room, and you had taken your caterpillar troves and moved them to other places because you needed more places for these notes. The true birth of Stitches. You see the cameras looking over your shoulder as you are taking tools to your to the teddy bear that you used and infusing different technologies before a big flash of light appears. And you see it then as Stitch's first day alive, but you see yourself from Stitch's height. You see yourself begin to walk up your own shoulders. You taste the macadamia nut, his first macadamia nut for his first time. You are climbing up and around your room. You're jumping downstairs onto your grandmother and grandfather's shoulders. You see the reunion 10 years ago as Stitches walks towards the water. And from Stitch's eyes, it's on top of the Boto's shoulders as you enter into the ocean. You once again see this, what seems to be like an Atlantis from Stitch's eyes, only a foot or two above the ground, walking from all fours to all twos, and then it flashes back to what you didn't notice, but now you feel. But the feeling from Stitches when Stitches had both tiny paws up on the window, as Stitches saw your ancestral home for the second time. And the warmth in his body as he curled up on your lap and looked up at your excitement as you saw it for the first time. And for the first time, you feel the love that Stitches feels in himself for you. You just hear this tiny voice in the back of your head, these tiny little squeaks that Stitches makes, but you understand them. And you hear him say, "You're in for a great adventure." Before you come back and that blue washes over your eyes again, and you're back head to head with Yata as she pulls away. And as you pull away, what happens?
As I pull away from Iata's or forehead to forehead, you see Myto blinking very quickly, as if a something is going to change with their vision, and they take off their glasses and they rub their eyes a little bit and they put them back on, and it's just things look different. Myto can feel the presence of people now. Myto, at first, when they saw these villagers, these families, these distant relatives, that's what they were. But hard to explain, but he can see a lifeline flowing through each and every elder, each and every villager. And as this almost starry mist flows through, he looks at the rest of the four, and this almost greenish northern light display is flowing through their heart source and surrounding them, almost protecting them, and then goes right into Stitches, who's sitting right beside him. And at this moment, Myto just picks Stitches up and is looking at Stitches and tilts their head to the right, with Stitches also tilting to the right and then tilting to the left, and brings Stitches close, just like Yata, and forehead to forehead, takes a moment, takes a breath, brings Stitches back close to her chest, and looks at Yata and is like, do I at least get a stick or something?
And Yata just laughs. I I I think maybe no stick this time, because if you have a stick, you will make it into the greatest weapon.
It's all the fun.
I'm sure you'll find something.
And they wink at Yata, and almost without thinking, very uncharacteristic of Myto, like goes in for the biggest hug. With Stitches like in between them, loving, like kind of being smushed. And at this moment, Myto like clears their eyes one more time, and that almost bioluminescent greenish starry life force kind of dissipates a bit, and they sit back down. And is Gabriel still on the ground?
Yeah, he sat on the ground cross-legged, and I think in between the moment between the bright light and him kind of like falling to the ground right by the chair that stuck to his leg for a momentary, along his arm, a metal plating has emerged on his forearm, and he's just kind of like staring at it. And for a moment after what happened with Tom, his eyes immediately focused on her, making sure that she's okay.
Myto offers a hand to Gabriel and invites the Gabriel, you can are you okay?
Gabriel reaches out an arm towards you. Sorry, did I cut out for folks, or okay, was it okay? Yeah, Gabriel kind of like, as you reach out towards him, he does take your arm and like stands up and says, "Thanks. You're a little one, and you're pretty special, huh?"
Yeah, I think so, but honestly, I think we all kind of are. And is kind of like eyes just darting between the four of y'all, and is like, um just I know a lot just happened, but don't make Carmen angry.
I'll try
Did
my
you
best.
see did you see the eyes and the
Oh yeah, and I think he'll like lean closer to where your face is and look over at Carmen and look at her face, probably disgruntled over the lack of phone. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll sort that out.
When you look over at Carmen, she is still mentally like under this metaphysical emotion, like a weighted blanket, fully dissociated. Like she has fully checked out from this. She may even just be vaguely aware that other people have had a transformative moment. I don't even think she's fully aware that she just was gifted with powers. Like she is fully reeling from the shock of losing her phone.
And then my eyes dart over at Orúno, and I whisper to Gabriel, and this is just a gut feeling, but the way that Orúno can move, I think he might be a good dancer.
Gabriel chuckles, hearing that, and nods and stares at Orúno. But I think at each time you're pointing at each person and pointing out an element of joy, of something lighthearted and joking, Gabriel sees the emotional weighted blanket, the dissociating from Carmen. He sees Orúno looking jarred, and he also sees his sibling feeling a little out of place. For his perspective, he's seeing the perhaps the shortcomings of what this realization has brought to all of us. But he still maintains that smile. To you, Myto, you look into April's brown amber eyes, and you are the most important person in the world. All of his attention is on you.
And without a beat, looks right over at Tom and's like, and Tom graciously accepted that stick from Great Uncle. That was kind of cool.
Yes, and I think he stares at that stick and at Tom. And I think he's trying to get a measure out of how Tom is feeling. It's like, must be a hell of a stick, as he lowers his gaze onto the stick. But still, his attention's on you. And whatever darkness in his mind is far, far away from you now. All that matters is how brightly he looks at you and how much hope he has for you.
I think
Eh,
Tom's inner monologue we just hear very briefly, and Tom is just repeating to herself in her mind, how the fuck am I supposed to help my family with a stick? But it's trying to, neutral face, pleasant smile.
And last but not least, Myto like casually pulls out like this thermometer looking thing and is just kind of like hovering it close to you. It's made out of metal and is like putting it on your leg and then sees the plate on your arm, but nothing is happening. And it's just like, disregard that and just like stuffs it back into their pocket. How are you
I
feeling?
don't think Gabriel like raises an eyebrow, does not ask any questions. He doesn't know what is happening. And Gabriel, with a bright smile, looks at you and says, "I'm fine as long as we're together. We'll get through this together." Gabriel is lying.
Myto shows probably the first big smile that you've seen them smile, and is like, "All right, as long as we can do this together, I'll be okay." And kind of like again out of character for Myto, kind of like grabs your arm and pulls you back towards the semicircle.
And Gabriel joins you. Footsteps over forward, but heavy. His shoulders drop heavy with concern.
As the first stars really begin to dot the night sky, you hear this gentle ripple disturbing the water near you. And emerging from the depths is someone who you hadn't seen in the scrapbook. But based off of everyone talking about the Botu, you can only presume it is the Botu Irasima. Your great aunt, great uncle, their description didn't come with a photo. On her page, you read words of transcendence, the transcendence of gender, transcendence of morality, symbols of the woven strands of beauty and tragedy in life. And he's known for their profound connection to the ancestral spirits. And you see this figure emerge from the depths, glowing with this ethereal light, their presence both commanding yet benevolent. And she circles kind of the gathering area once, almost in this silent blessing, before stopping by the side of her wife, Tuki, reaching for her hand, kissing it once, before looking back to the group. I'm here to take you home, aren't I? The homes of the ancestors. Grab the rope, she says, as she almost just tosses this rope out of nowhere from her hand towards you all and begins walking back towards the ocean. Whether or not you immediately grab it, the rope almost goes to your hands as the camera begins to pull back, as we see you five either begrudgingly, slowly, or quickly grabbing onto the rope and walking towards. And the camera pulls back, and we see Irasima the Botu showing you all about your other ability that you didn't know, that you now can breathe underwater. As Irasima pulls a bowl from the ocean water to your faces and asks you to just dip your face in. And one by one, we see each of you dip your face in and either come back with a smile of disbelief, grabbing a notebook maybe and taking some notes of how this could be possible, feeling if maybe you have gills on your neck, but nothing has changed except that it feels as easy as breathing air. And that scene begins to fade as we go back once more to the elders, some of them still there watching this happen for the first time for you, but a few times they have seen this happen in the village. As the villagers begin to disperse, we hear a cough from the corner as Yata is standing at the edge of the ceremony grounds, her gaze like the stars, witnessing as the strands of your hair are soaked in water as you are testing out these new abilities. And Taina approaches Yata and hands her one of the napkins in her own hand and whispers to Yata, I'll hold the key to our bonds, but the Silva family has always prospered. And we see as the camera slowly begins to fade, Yata shakes her head, coughing into the napkin once more. No, this is different. And as the camera begins to fade, we see both of their hands drop near each other. And before it fades to black, on each of their napkins in their hands, we see spatterings of blood as the camera fades to black. I would like to thank my players for this incredible roleplay episode where they have gotten their amazing powers and we will see what the stick does. But I would like all of my players to outro themselves, tell you where you can find them, other projects that they are working on, and we will work as usual backwards from where we started with Claire.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm like reeling from that. Um, my name is Claire. You can find me everywhere at Claire_witchbaby. I do be streaming on Twitch. And I'm gonna be spending the rest of my life recovering from the ending of this episode.
Okay, next we have Val.
Hey, Kris, what was that? I was writing my notes and then I had to stop because I had to listen to that. But hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. Also, wow. Hi, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all on the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Odds Spirit Bar. Please enjoy that lovely judge I just set you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little nice older brother, Gabriel, who uses he they pronouns and is acting completely normal after that magical transformation. Everything's fine. And yeah, I'm gonna pass introductions over to Jay.
Hi everyone, my name is Jay or Nala. My pronouns are they, them, and I have been Tamsyn Zhao. Yeah. Tune back next week to find out what my stick does. Anyway, I I am everywhere. Well, I am actually not everywhere. I am on Twitter at NalaWoo and everywhere else at Nala Draws, including Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, etc. I am an art director and illustrator who works full time in the TTRPG space. I love drawing things and stuff and sticks. I will be doing that, I guess. Wow. Um, Besides art, I also do voice acting, sensitivity consulting, and I am an actual play TTRPG performer on shows like this one. Um, and that's me. I want to give a, shout out to a game that I worked on called For Our Family by Anthony Nomo. It is a descended from the Queen Hack, which has themes very similar to this game, and I think if you're enjoying this game, you will like that game as well. You play as the children of immigrants who are growing up in a place that is very different from your homeland, and you have been called by your ancestors to return home, and you answer, like for the queen, you draw prompt cards that have prompts to help guide your storytelling. And instead of choosing an illustration of the queen, you instead choose two illustrations, one representing where you are from and one representing where you are now. And I provided some of those illustrations for that game. So I wanted to give that a quick little shout out. Super cool game. And yeah, that's all from me. And I'm gonna pass to whoever went before me last time.
Victor.
Hi, Victor here. You can find me on TikTok as Victor underscore the Story Weaver, or Instagram as the Victor Manso. Uh, I'm playing Orúno Munín, who just went through quite the quite the revelation that still don't understand. Uh, Hopefully, clarity will come next week. Uh, I'm here for it. Still processing. Y'all have a good night. Whoever's next, take it away. As my brain just trails off.
It's me. I will accept your brainwaves. Hello, everybody. My name is Danny Quach. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. That's BR00TALDAN. I am a community manager and digital marketer by day, and by night, I write a Substack called Digital Thickness with two C's, where I try to send out and disseminate as much marketing information and tabletop RPG love and goodness as I can, uh, as well as pop culture through a queer lens. So feel free to check out that Substack. And yeah, back to the GM that just put us through it.
Hello, I am Kris, aka D&D Imposter, aka your lovely storyteller who definitely didn't do a bunch of lower drops tonight whatsoever. You can find me at D&D Imposter on all social media. Also, want to give a shout out to I am one of the founders of Tabletop Tempest, and also our other founder of Tabletop Tempest, who is currently something just broke outside my apartment, but it wasn't in here, so we're good. A huge shout out to Latinos Against Spooky Shit, aka Jonathan, aka one of the other founders of Tabletop Tempest, who has been running everything behind the scenes for us. Thank you to all of you who are watching. We are so excited to see what happens next week, to see what the stick does and how completely normal everything that happened was and will continue to be. See you guys next week. Bye.